My name is Dustin Meza. I am originally from Santa Barbara, but I now reside here in Hawaii. And something that I love is spearfishing. As a person with spinal cord injury, it's something that really requires so much of my body, and it really requires me to kind of bring it all together. When it taps me into this deeper flow state, it gets me into this kind of primordial connection with the ocean and with my surroundings. In this environment, my legs are secondary. And that's what's kind of cool. I have had a few lives in this lifetime. I grew up in Southern California playing sports, basketball, football, soccer. And then I transitioned into being a cowboy in Southern Oregon and riding horses and being out in the wilderness. Then I moved out here to Hawaii. So I was just really enjoying the jungle life, picking coconuts and living off the land, kind of doing that sustainable lifestyle. So maybe like a year and a half into this jungle lifestyle, I was picking coconuts, trimming a tree, kind of multitasking, and I fell out of the tree. And that's when I shattered my spine in multiple places and, lost control of everything below the navel. I just had this internal sense like I'm paralyzed. So that was my first thought. The second thought that came in was that I'm not walking alone. I had this inner sense that I knew that there was something else animating this, and that this wasn't just a random incident, and that if I stayed present with that, I would essentially be guided through this process, through this kind of journey that I was having because of this injury. The ego wants to tell you that your life's over, that you're less than. However, I had a faith that there was this greater purpose transpiring, that maybe my life wasn't going to be the same, but maybe that's a good thing. I'm going to take it back just a little bit. 3 days before my injury, I did a little ceremony, a little prayer on the eastern shores of the island, kind of asking to get connected with this deeper healing energy. I wanted to become a healer in my own self. I wanted to pursue the healer's path, help people on their path, and meet some amazing teachers. And so I kind of put my heart out there. Well, 3 days later, I'm falling out of the tree and my body's shattered. And I had this feeling, this sentiment, this knowingness that was telling me like, hey, don't worry, it's going to be okay. And so I trusted in that. In that trust, it's guided me to some really amazing teachers that have been able to kind of like do their thing, put their magic to work, and help my body do these incredible things that, at the beginning of the injury, I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to do that. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to spearfish again. There's no way I'm going to ever learn how to surf. There's no way I'm going to ever become a hunter. And yet, like, I just learned how to surf. I'm learning how to hunt. I'm learning how to do archery. Like, the cool things that I thought I always wanted to do, like I'm still pursuing them. And I think because I had the injury, that I'm not like, someday I'll do that. It's like, man, I don't know if tomorrow's coming. I need to do it before this time expires. So, of course, the doctors gave me a diagnosis, and I tried my best not to listen to the diagnosis. They were telling me to not do things, just rest. And I just didn't really prescribe to that. I've been doing Chinese Kung Fu and Taoist yoga, since before my injury. As soon as I was injured, and as soon as, I could get my mind through the plethora of drugs that were just bombarded on me, I started to implement those practices. It all starts with the breath. And so being there in ICU, that's exactly what I did. And I focused on my breath until gradually, my body started to turn back on. In the beginning, I couldn't feel anything below the waist. Now my function has returned so much more that oftentimes folks have a hard time recognizing that I did have a spinal cord injury, that I was paralyzed. And I still can't feel below my knees for most of the time. And what I can feel burns. But for the most part, my body is still constantly, after 10 years, it's still turning back on because I'm still trying to push the bounds of what is possible at this current present moment. I had a T4, T11, and 12. When I got released out of ICU, released out of Rehab of the Pacific, I then was released into my own care, right? But I'm living at the back of that jungle valley, very removed from the medical field. So I was essentially stuck down there for a few months. having to kind of just do my own rehab process, go deep into the meditations, do these holistic remedies, if you will, these yogas and qigongs, and just do them on my own for a long time until I got out of that valley and was able to kind of get myself into a house up top where it was easier to get to therapies. And then I had this big breakup with the girl I was seeing at that time. So then I was homeless and living at a beach. Then I ended up at a commune, at a 3-acre commune, and I was living in a closet of a bathroom. I didn't have a caretaker that was coming to help with any of my chores or really help take care of me at all. So I was having to cook, clean. There was a lot of essential setbacks that were wicked challenging to go through for anybody, but also to have to do it while rehabilitating from spinal cord injury. I didn't make it easy. I counted the little victories. I counted the first time that I could lift my knee up and hold it for a fraction of a second. You know, the moment where, you know, you transition from a wheelchair to a walker, or a walker to 2 canes, or 2 canes to some crutches. So how to get your body turned back on, how to live after the spinal cord injury. Well, why do you think you were put back, like given the second opportunity? Yeah, maybe you can't walk right now, or you can't animate or motate in the same way, but maybe there is a way that is completely unique to you that can allow your unique message to come out more fully because you're in a situation now. If you can find out what that is inside of you and you can deliver that, it doesn't matter what shape or condition your body is in. If you can do that, man, you're living a good life. The transition to coaching, I don't know, it might have been 8 years of just focusing on myself, working with my teachers. But it wasn't until I think I met my sweetheart, and she was moving into coaching for her field. She was like, you know, babe, like you can really offer these services to a lot of folks. A lot of people would probably really appreciate hearing some of these things, because it doesn't sound like it's something that's normal in the industry. I've been trained in all of this stuff for like 10, 12, 13 years now, but I don't see it anywhere in the spinal cord injury community. One of the things that I talk to my clients about, like they all say, yeah, walking is the number one. All I want to do is walk again. All I want to do is walk again. Why do you want to walk? Getting them to start thinking about that. Oh, well, so that I can spend time with my kids, so that I can dance with my wife, so that I can go grocery shopping on my own, so I can do things by myself. I can lift things. Okay, well, why don't we work on some of those things? You got little kids? Great therapy for you. Get on the ground and roll around with them. Get better at rolling around. Be great at rolling around before you even consider standing and walking. In the beginning, I also was hooked on this idea. All I want to do is walk again. But what was more important was, what do I love to do no matter what's going on? I love training Kung Fu. And that just means training my body. I'm an athlete. And so what was more important to me than walking was the consistency of cultivating my person. What was more important to me than walking was participating in life. Seeing the world was connecting with my family. And so I wanted to exercise so that I was prepared for life. You can still do so many things regardless of having a spinal cord injury. You can still share your knowledge and inspire people and light people up. There's still so much you can do. And so for me to be able to help folks out, like that was something that became increasingly more important to me than just walking. Was helping people, you know, reconnect to the potential of living life again, man.